Hello, Hannah here. Oh, I thought it said 4:44. It's 4:04. Let's see what 4:04 is. My book's right here because my car's in the smash repairs getting fixed. So, because a tree fell on it. I didn't tell you about that. That's a whole other story. It's coming right up. You've made God and the angels the center of your consciousness, which has brought you peace. Ask them for everything else that you could desire. Ask them for help with whatever you would like. That's the number 4:04. That's the message for you. Maybe that's all you needed to tune into for 2 and 4 today. Okay. So let me share this live stream, and then I'm going to channel these messages, signs and synchronicities. Reality is changing. Want to talk about why you're questioning everything in your reality right now. The veil is very thin, but it's actually now the new normal. People like us who have been doing this work for years is like, but this is normal. And people who haven't been doing the deep inner work are being hit and hit and hit and hit and hit. And they're like, what is happening right now? And some people are physically sick that are just like, this doesn't happen to me. I'm going to talk about all of these pieces. I'm going to talk about how the Antarctic winds have been like ripped open and are blowing a massive gale through because Earth's being knocked by something in the collective cosmic place. And I'm going to talk about all of these things because reality is changing. Synchronicities and signs are changing. So if you see black things out of your eyes and you're like, whoa, what was that? Or you're seeing things, the veil is thin, but this is the new normal now. I'm going to talk about this. Let me share this because I started talking already and I need to share this, so bear with me. Started going in my flow already. Okay, yeah, just hang on, just a second. Okay, this one. Because people have been talking, okay, hang on. Sorry. Almost there. Otherwise I'll get sidetracked and I'll press the wrong buttons and just, okay, we're good to go. Okay, because a lot of people have been feeling like they have been feeling weird, right? They've been feeling weird. And it's a little bit funny about that because I started feeling it too. And I was like, this is normal for me out here. There's like so much weird stuff that goes on out here. I'm like, this is normal. But then I was talking to a client and then I was talking to another client and I was like, okay, I got to talk about this. And then I did a live stream in my Life Purpose Legacy group and it came up again. I'm like, okay, I'm going to talk about it. And then I was talking about it on Monday as well. So, hello. Welcome. My name is Hannah. If you've not met me before, hello. Say hi. Let me know where you're tuning in from around the world. I am in the Noosa hinterland, Queensland, Australia, and I love hearing where you guys are tuning in from around the world. So this sort of energy update, signs and synchronicities, the signs and synchronicities that I'm really talking about today are really based in and around the fact that reality is changing. So the signs and synchronicities are changing. When we first have our spiritual awakening, the signs and synchronicities can be such a really big topic. So this particular live stream that I'm talking about, the signs and synchronicities are really based on like the fact that realities change. So we're seeing things differently, we're experiencing things differently, and there's sort of like two layers that I always talk about. There's sort of two groups of consciousness. If one's up, the other's down, etc. But it's sort of, that's sort of shifted. It's almost like there's this layer where we're up here and then there's other people down here, and it's not in a judgmental way, it's just on a vibrational scale way. And we've sort of gone through the portal, we've arrived, and then these people are like, what's happening? And so this live stream might sound judgmental just while I use labels to explain the energies and pieces that I'm picking up. So the unconscious people are waking up, but the people who are like, haven't done the deep inner work are really experiencing it. But because we're holding it, because we've done the work for many years, and as I was saying to my client, like we've been doing the work for years, like for the past 10 years, longer, it's always been going on, but there's been a big wave for the past 10 years maybe. And we've been holding it. And as we hold it, it gets to a point where consciousness shifts, right? The 100th monkey syndrome, right? When a certain amount of people are holding a frequency for a period of time, everyone shifts, it moves up. That's what's happened recently. And it's actually very common around this time of year. There's something around, I don't know, the cosmos, our earth alignment, whatever you want to call it. It's quite common around this June, July. And then again around October, November, December is sort of another wave, but it's like a deeper wave and it can be quite heavy around October, November, December. So last Thursday, I started feeling really weird stuff and I experienced weird stuff. So because I am out on the property, the stargazing has become a real thing for me because there's no beach out here. And I was saying the other day, I was like, the stars are like my ocean. And literally like this shooting star went across, because I'm looking at the stars, and this shooting star went across. I was like, oh, I was like, oh my God, it's still going. It was like the longest shooting star ever. And then there was like a light in the paddock and I'm like, there's no lights over there and there's no people over there and there's no roads over there because I know this land. And I was like, am I seeing things? And then I was like, is that a UFO? And I'm like getting like the flight app out and I'm like, oh no, that one's a plane. Okay. Because I've seen them out here too. And Karoi Mountain is known for them. This area in Nusa Hinterland is known for UFO sightings, and people travel from around the world to see the UFOs here. It's a thing. Anyway, the sort of a little piece of the story that I needed to share, because it's been really, really windy, right? It's been really, really windy. And I know I'm just in this little part of the world over here, but it's significant to the effect that everyone knows that the atmosphere in the veil has been getting thinner and thinner and thinner because of all different reasons that everyone could say their little piece about that. We know all those pieces, okay? Is it right or wrong? Do we know what it is? We don't know. Then there is the fact that as the veil has gotten thin and the atmosphere is thin, that lets in a lot of space dust. I've seen posts and pieces around there's actual clouds of space dust that come in and it makes us sick. And we forget this. Now, I think I've said previously at some point somewhere that sorry, I'm getting a zillion messages at once. There's a piece around, I often giggly, quarterly, sort of not laughing, not like wonder if the thing was a way to protect some of the humans from what's coming, of like, there's no way I would get it, okay? And I know all the pieces inside out. I'm not silly, blah, blah, blah. But it's like, it just crosses my mind sometimes. And I'm like, are they getting sick or we're not? Like, COVID aside, like deeper stuff. Anyway, little pondering thought. The point is that the things are changing in the atmosphere and they are affecting us. And there's so many layers when we're looking at like, oh my God, I'm sick, I never get sick, or this is happening, or my daughter's sick, or this is going on, or whatever's going on, or I don't know, this person's sick, or you might be sick, or whatever's going on, or seeing things out of the corner of your eye. And like 10 years ago, 15 years ago, there was really specific distinct times when we would feel that like, oh, the veils are thin this weekend, or this moon, or this whatever it is, like the veils are really thin. And we would feel that and we'd be like, oh yeah, and everyone could feel it. And nowadays it's just like all the time. Now there's the Earth's atmosphere like thin, and then there's the spiritual veil thin. Now reality is changing because the actual dimensions are changing, like the dimensions are merging. Like, how I always forget it's on the tip of my tongue. I always forget the name of the book and the movie, the Celestine Prophecy, I think it is. And the Celestine Prophecy talks about the 9 scrolls. And it's funny because I teach with the 9 chakras. The 9th scroll is integration. The ninth chakra I teach is actually integration. It's all the chakras in one. Then the 9th scroll isn't actually a scroll, it's a place. It's a consciousness. It's kind of interesting. Anyway, Funny little side note again. The piece about the veils and reality's just thin now, and the Celestine prophecy, you know how in some texts and books and places and teachings, they teach that like it's all here and it's not something we can really understand. So like all the ruined buildings or stone buildings that are all ruined, like in another timeline dimension now, it exists in its full glory. And what we would experience as our reality is actually in ruins. You know how they say that, right? So they say that everything's actually still happening now, just on a different timeline dimension, but it's all now. Like, which one are you operating from? In, from, around, right? And so when we look at that concept, the veils being thin is that, like, I believe that the realities are merging. There's no real separation in the line anymore. And I joked a little while ago on Facebook around like, oh, they want to microchip us because soon we'll be able to time travel and telepathy, like, you know, telepathically travel. I don't know. That's you get the point. Teleport. That's the one. Teleport. Thank you. Whoever said that. Soon we'll be able to teleport. So they're going to need a different way to track us. I don't know. I was kind of joking, but you know. So when we look at these veils getting thin and realities merging, of course we're going to see things out of our eyes. Of course we're going to see like the spirits, the beings, whatever they are. And it's at this point where it's kind of like signs and synchronicities are changing because reality is changing. And I said to my client, I was like, reality is about to get flipped on its head in a minute, you know, and everyone's going to be questioning everything. And that's when I was starting to put out these posts. I wrote a blog this morning about like authenticity is what people are looking for. The realness is what people are looking for, because everything we've been taught is about to get flipped on its head and everyone's just going to go, what? But we know the truth. We have known this from day dot, and even spirituality, even the moon, or even, you know, like spiritual, like infinity things are actually business corporate logos. Like, do you know what I mean? It's kind of like, it's just going to blow your freaking mind about this stuff. Now, what's also interesting is that since Thursday, when all that weird stuff is happening, and then it's just like this weird energy, like Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So like the last week, it started about a week ago, significantly felt it. Now, remember, we've got our full moon in Capricorn coming up on Sunday. So we've got the full moon ceremony, and that full moon ceremony is like, the full moon, there's 2 full moons in Capricorn, like next to each other. Like that doesn't happen, right? So we've got this rare event that's coming to a close of like this new foundation. Like, what foundation have you been creating? What new structure, what reality have you been creating since the last full moon? Want to check on that. Want to check on where you're going with that. Check on what's been clearing out, what's been grounding, what's been in alignment, what's coming into alignment, right? So alongside the veils being thin, I said a while ago on a live stream that it's like as a cosmos, as a solar system, we're like traveling through the cosmos. I don't know. It's like I could see it. We're traveling through the cosmos and we're going this way, and then all of a sudden it's like, 45 degrees and we're going. And then it's like we've gone sort of up and we're being squeezed through this portal, and then here we are at this new level. And this is where a lot of us are feeling this squeeze. And just in the last couple of days, in this last week, it's almost like we've just been traveling along, and then all of a sudden it's sort of like, I don't know if it's hit something, right? But if our solar system or our Earth or whatever, I don't know, sort of like hit something or bumped up against it. Is it the twin solar system? Is it something from the atmosphere, like out of cosmos atmosphere? I don't know. Like, what is that, right? And then my client also, she's like, oh, we've got this like meteorite shower from like the 17th all the way to the 1st of September. And I'm like, something's going on, right? I'm like, yeah, something's torn a hole or something's coming in, or, you know, for many years when I was doing energy updates all the time, when I first came online in 2016, I'd do energy updates all the time. I would always say when we're feeling weird, like I was like, oh, it's like something, you know, we've got our solar system and it's like something's coming in and bumping up against and then moving away. And then I find out a couple of years like ago that the twin solar system is a thing. And I'm like, that's what I've always felt, right? And so with this like current like travel, and then there's a meteorite shower, and then the other piece is here in Australia, as I said, I know I'm in this little piece of like, you know, tiny piece of the world, but apparently it happens, but it doesn't happen that often. And then on the weekend, I think I saw it, because right now where I am in Australia, on the east coast of Australia, we've got this really cold Antarctic wind coming up, right? But apparently when I saw the thing online, I don't know, I'm not a person that knows this stuff, but what I understood is like the Antarctica has its own little sort of atmosphere, like the polar winds or whatever they don't go anywhere. Like they just sort of stay in the coldness of Antarctica, like, I don't know, spinning around, whatever they do. But then apparently like something, the way the person described it was like something's ripped a hole in that atmosphere, and that's why we've got these gusty cold winds coming up from Antarctica and the east coast of Australia, right? And it's freaking freezing here this week. But, you know, I sort of was like, oh, that's interesting, you know, it doesn't really happen, but it happened again. And then I was like, oh, that's interesting, because even where the rip was in, like when they showed the diagram, it's really close to that anomaly. I always get that word wrong. The anomaly that keeps appearing. Have you guys seen that? The anomaly, that it's like, do you guys know what I'm talking about? Between, I don't know if my phone will load right now. It keeps appearing between South Africa and South America. Maybe I'm getting that wrong. I don't know if I'll be able to load this. I'll see. Anyway, so that, okay, so okay, whatever's. The rip in the Antarctic piece is like really close, like the anomaly keeps appearing here, and then we've got Australia over here. And I was like I was looking for that, because I was like, oh, there's a rip in it. And then I thought about the anomaly, which keeps appearing. And I'm like, that's where I saw the land mass appearing as well, back in, I don't know, whatever year it was, several years ago when I got that download, 2020 or something. Anyway, so the point is that rip in like the Antarctic, close to the anomaly that keeps appearing, that's actually really big, and it's like a frequency or whatever it is going up. And then the feeling that I was getting of like something's bumped into our atmosphere caused the rip, caused the like, I don't know what the anomaly is, but you know, it's sort of like it's putting off all this energy, and it's like a ripping and a tearing in our atmosphere. And I'm like, if dimensions are really merging, or it's going to affect our physical place, right? And then the other piece of that is, like if that is sort of bumping in, and then we've got a meteorite shower for the next, what's that, 6 weeks or something longer, July, August, September. Yeah, so yes, the next 6 weeks. Like, when does a meteorite shower go for 6 weeks? I don't know. Maybe I'm not a astrologer person. Anyway, what are those people called? You get it. So, okay, so Brenda was saying something here about, I've been so sick since Thursday. I think it's wanting me to hit rock bottom since my mum passing away in May. So many negative things happening. Okay, so sickness, because there's a lot of people that are sick, and there's a lot of people that are dealing with heavy stuff. Now, as always, I'm like, diagnose yourself. And the thing is that because we've shifted, as I was saying, we've sort of like come up through, and we're up here, and then there's people here are like, what's happening? Because on the 100th monkey syndrome, so many people of us for years, for many, many years, but especially the last 10, 15, 20 years, have really been working on a lot of consciousness stuff, healing, blah, blah, blah. That reaches a capacity where it's going to flip, and it's happened, right? It's happened in the last couple of months, or last month even. It's a distinct shift up. And as the 100th monkey shifts, all of these people are like, whoop, they're like pulled up with it. Like they have no choice to face their shit, to face the stuff that they're not dealing with, in whatever that looks like in their life, right? Now, on a physical body level, yes, there's like the rips in the atmosphere and the cosmic dust coming in and blah, 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 blah. Yes, there's all those pieces. Then there is also like whatever's going on with the sickness. It's like I always say, diagnose it, right? Now, on a collective level, we're dealing with self-worth, we're dealing with solar plexus, and we're dealing with throat chakra consciousness. We're dealing with the projection of the darkness. We're dealing with the awakening of how our power has been abused and our light has been dimmed, power being taken away, power over, all of those pieces, right? So this is what we're dealing with. And then if we look at, there's a lot of people that are talking about the Epstein-Barr. It's kind of like the Epstein-Barr virus. So what's his name? Medical medium, Anthony Williams, talks about it in great detail. He's amazing at it. And it's so interesting to me that like Epstein-Barr, Epstein, you know, the child trafficker person, people, that ring, that rabbit hole, if you may, if we look at that and then Epstein-Barr virus that was injected into us with all the vaccines as we're kids in all the schools, right? Epstein-Barr, oversensitive, like the metaphysical term is oversensitive, not feeling good enough, lacking confidence, constantly changing your mind, carrying a lot of suppressed energy, uncontrollable aggression toward people who are closest to you, feeling guilty about your incapacity to stick to one thing, disconnected from who you truly are, focusing on other people's dreams instead of your own. Sound familiar? Keep them controlled, they say, on a very deep level. Epstein-Barr is the cause of many, many symptoms on top of, like, it's kind of like if you're sick, do Epstein-Barr cleanses, heal that at its core. Don't worry about anything else, just do that first. Medical medium stuff, right? So we've got, what the fuck's that called? Bloody scammers out, so just ignore them. Just gonna block them. Okay, so where was I going with that? Because now I'm just getting these parasites off. Sorry, that's really bad, but it's kind of what it is. So, okay, signs and synchronicities, reality is changing. You will be going through feelings of, yes, so as we are shifting up into the next dimension, and so where I was going with, sorry, I'm jumping a little bit with Epstein-Barr and the stuff, so I'll just leave that to the side for a second. With this, like, our Earth, I don't know, has been hit by something, there's been a tear, there's a meteorite shower coming, like something's going on, okay? Something's going on. And on a very physical level, okay? And that's affecting us energetically because our equilibrium is being thrown off. I cannot talk this week, bear with me. It's being thrown off out of balance. And if we look at that on a big, you know, cosmic thing of whatever, like something is coming in, people have been feeling dizzy. And what was the other thing? Headaches, dizzy. What was the other thing there? Oh yeah, headaches and dizziness since the end of April. And so like there's a really, like the reason I'm bringing up Epstein-Barr and the physical stuff is because like we can't just quote unquote say, oh, it's just this spiritual thing. Because sometimes the Epstein-Barr, for example, like on a physical level, like, you know, not just Epstein-Barr, there's so many different pieces to the physical health, right? That if that's, but I'm bringing up Epstein-Barr because of the sort of intertwining pieces of the entrapment, if you may, in that whole piece, yeah? And really it's the innocence capturing of the light, capturing the innocent light, yeah, at its deep core. It's capturing the innocent light of us. Whew, that was like exactly what it is. So then as we're shifting to another dimension, the dizziness and the headaches is because we're literally like moving up. And then with that, like I said, that like whatever we've been hidden, ever since Thursday, it's just like we've been traveling along and then all of a sudden it's just gone, like it's just like a Saurus spiral and it's like it's pushed us. So you know how something gets bumped and it's like, oh, like push faster, you know, and that's the sort of sense. And that's what's been going on for like the last week. So it's almost like everything's been speeded up. And I even noticed like the past 2 days, I'm like time sped up again. And I'm like, no, I was just trying to get stuff done. Like don't speed up time. So things like that. Okay. So yes. So physical stuff. Okay. And then, so as I said, like this, not feeling good enough, lacking confidence, all of that, like whatever it is that is, you know, your, I say this all the time. I feel like people should know this, you know, whatever's going on, look at it. Because if you work on, like, what does that remind you of? Like, whatever you're, you know, dealing with, okay, well, then you look at the physical, like, reactions and what it is. Sorry, the metaphysic understanding and work with that. That's what you're shifting as you spiral. Does that make sense? Like that's what we're shifting as we come up to the higher frequency. And as we shift to this higher frequency up here on a physical level, like that stuff down here can't come up, right? It's like the same diagram that I drew the other day on the live stream as well. Like, does that make sense? So when we're being pulled up and the 100th monkey's pulled everyone up, and we're here and all these people are like, whoa, I have to come up. Like, fuck, like, you know, it's like, oh my God, what's happening? People are physically sick. People's lives are falling apart. Like whatever, like they're being tested beyond measure. Like, are you going to make it? Are you going to make it? Well, that's a choice. And it's like, as we come up to this high vibration, those emotions, those old belief systems, those old viruses, those old things can't come. It won't fit in this frequency. And so as you're being pulled up, it's like you're going through a sieve and you're like, all the shit's being pulled out and you're like, what's happening? It's a purge out. When we detox our body or detoxing from emotions of old situations, it's like it purges out. Like we feel it to its full capacity. So if you've been doing the work and have shifted, or if you're just like, whoa, what's happening? It's kind of like, yeah, you're lifting up, so to speak, to the new frequency, and this stuff can't come with you. And the faster you work on the timeline healing, and this is all the pieces we do in Trust Intuition as we heal this stuff, right, with all the tools. And if you've got my Life Purpose Activation Kit, you can definitely do pieces with that as well. So I've designed that to not just activate your purpose, but it's the healing as well, right? There's pieces in there that teach you how to heal yourself to get on to your purpose, because the faster you can shift, like where the timeline was that you first started not feeling good enough, right? And all of those pieces, then you're going to be able to like go, oh, cool. And it's like a consciousness shift as well as your physical vibration and the purging. And as we move to a higher vibration, it's a crystalline light body that is like, it's like our cells are changing into this crystalline light. So anything that's clung on to the carbon-based body system, it can't cling on anymore. And that's why as we're being pulled up, we're like, ah, what's happening? On every level in every area of your life. So I'm just going to pop the Life Purpose Activation Kit in there because it is full of every tool that you would need to move forward with this is in there. And I released that just this week, so I'm a bit excited about that as well. But I've purposely created that to help people with all of these things, navigating the heavy energies, understanding all the different facets of your purpose and business. If you're going to step into this doing as a business, it's really pulling you into the fact of like going inside and being able to look and understand these. So you're not going, what's happening as we shift and change? Because as I said, the veil is thin, but the piece about that is this is normal now. What we experienced energetically 5, 10, 20 years ago is not going to be anymore. Like even if we look back to like 20, 30 years ago when there wasn't mobile phones, like, well, apart from the bricks, life was pretty different. We're never going to experience that again. And so as we're shifting and changing this energetics and all of these like pieces, like this is normal to have your gifts activated. This is normal to understand why you're seeing the flashes of light or the dark spirits walking past. Like this is normal, right? So in the Life Purpose Activation Kit, I go through all of these pieces because this is normal. This is normal. Absolutely normal. How do you navigate that? Life Purpose Activation Kit. I put it all in there laid out step by step, all the tools you need. It's right there. Okay, what else did I need to talk about for this update? Signs and synchronicities. So there's a lot of like the signs and synchronicities are getting stronger. There's a lot of like I believe between now and the end of the year we're going to see things that happen on Earth that we've never seen before. I believe that like so strongly. So it's like get prepared. Okay, I think I covered everything. Oh, and so then the last piece is you are outgrowing people. You are outgrowing people, places, and your vibration is shifting, obviously. And so you're not going to feel like a resonance. Like you just be like, I don't want, like, you know, I don't know. Do you ever go off like your food? Like there's just nothing that you want to eat. I notice that I go through that when I like as I go through a big shift, and like I'm hungry, but I'm like, I don't want to eat any, I just don't want it. Like I'm just sort of drawn to eating anything. Sometimes I'm like, oh my God, yes, give me this. And I was like, ugh. And also you're feeling that with spiritual communities, with teachers, with mentors, with people from your past, with certain groups of people even. You're just like, I just don't resonate. Oh, I just can't listen to that anymore. Like you're in a space where you're just like, oh, I don't resonate with them anymore. How did I even listen to that? And then there's some that you're like, just need a break from, but there's some you're just like, wow, I just cannot listen to that anymore. This is as we're moving through this sort of squeeze portal to this higher vibration. It's part of this transformative shift. And as I say to my clients, I'm like, just don't touch anything. Just let it all land. Because if you just let it all land, and if you just leave it, you're going to shift through the spiral. And when you come up here, you're going to have a different relationship with the things that were down there. Some of them are just like done, closed book, redundant, nah. And then some you're going to have a different and even better relationship with. Yeah. So know that as we go through these shifts, and so I got the message as well the other day that these energies will stay here, and it'll be like this until the Lionsgate now, which is the 8th of the 8th. So in a couple of weeks. So know that we're going through this shift. It's this portal shift. Go and check out the stars. Get activated by the stars. Move, like, you don't have to move into the country, but go out for a drive into the country, or go somewhere where there's, no lights, just even for a night. Like go and, I don't know, have dinner out there or something. I don't know. It's beautiful, and it does activate something in you. But there is these energies going to hang around until the 8th. And then, as my client said, it was like, I haven't even looked at it, but the 1st of September is this meteorite shower until the 1st of September. And so these next few weeks, I feel are going to be hugely deciding and transformative because of these shifts. And Lionsgate's always huge in itself. And then also because of the Capricorn full moon that we have on Sunday. If you want to join in the full moon ceremony for that, just comment moon below and I'll send you the details for that. We hold a ceremony, and it's the second one from our Capricorn moon last month. So what's been going on? What's Capricorn's all about? Stability, the structure, the new foundations. Like what is it that you've been grounding down? What has been shifting? What has been sitting with you because of that, right? Oh, you've got 9 acres that you escaped to. It's the best, right? It's the best thing about it. So what has been in this stability and this structure? And we've got a couple of days left. And then as we know, like, I feel like for the next 3 weeks, it's kind of like really solidifying what you've grounded in this gap, in this point of time. In 2018, the goddess came through really strong around this time. This June, July is a really potent time for receiving a lot of information from the guides, from your guides, from spirit, from source, from whatever opens up at these times collectively, energetically, cosmically. Like there's something that happens. That's why Lionsgate, and that's why whatever, right? And also be aware that we're heading into a pretty, heavy season. Like October, November, December is heavy energies, right? We're in Scorpio and all those things there. So just, it's like prepare, like get, what are you grounding in? What are the new structures? Like we've got 5 months left of 2024 to hit 2025. Like make it your best yet, right? And in 2018, around this time, the goddess came through, and like it was this poem, and I need to go back through all my blogs and try and find it. But I was reminded about it before I got on this live stream, and it was something about, like, it was so interesting. It was like, when the sun rises in the west, then, it wasn't for the best. It was like, I don't know, it was some poetic thing. Like when I get these like channels, like it's like this poem that streams through, I'm like, that's the goddess, that's not me. Maybe I should need to find it. But, and I was reminded of that just before I got on this live stream. And I was like, this is, when I first heard that, I was like, sunrise in the west. I was like, sunrise in the west, like sunrise is in the east. And what came to mind? I know it's silly, but on the Game of Thrones, I think it's season 2, the first episode. I haven't watched it for years, don't quote me on that. But the opening scene is that they are, I don't know, they're walking through whatever forest, and there's a meteorite that's like traveling through the sky, like it's a long, slow one. Asteroid? I don't know. And they talk about the sun rising in the west. And I was like, I've heard, that's what I heard. So time will tell. If you got any questions, pop them below. And there is definitely something special about a clear starry night. Oh my goodness, is there what? So much. And the thing I love too is like when I get up in the morning, so I get up about 4 every morning and I go outside, and it's like, because the sun hasn't risen yet, and when there's no moon and the stars are different, like this morning they were really different. Like usually you can fully see the Milky Way, but there was no Milky Way. It was just stars everywhere. And I was like, I usually see the Milky Way so clearly, and it was just stars everywhere. Yeah, they speak. So time to get activated by the stars. And if you've got questions, pop them in below. I've popped in a link for my Life Purpose Activation Kit. If you would like to work with me privately, the private mentoring that came through from the stars, from the message from the stars, my private mentoring space closes on the 28th of July. I'm not taking on any new clients as I work on these projects that began back in 2016 online. So I've got my 2025 personal psychic forecast. So that is a forecast that I audio record to you. I pull 12 cards and I channel through the energy so that you can really harness the energy to really activate and get on your purpose and align with all of your dream life that you want to create in your life. So 2025, comment that below if you'd like the link for that. And then there's the Mystic Mastery that I opened as well, which is the Mystic Mastery, understanding all of these pieces and energetics and psychic development and using that in your business, whether you got a spiritual business or not. So Mystic Mastery is open. So just comment Mystic below. That's my 6-month mentoring. And of course, if the inner circle is where you want to be, and the inner circle is always the place where that is where you vibe at, then send me a message and we can talk about that. My inner circle is the 12 months Life Purpose Accelerator. It is a 100K investment. So just send me a message and we can see if that's right for you. Okay, I will see you guys really soon. Go and check out the stars. Bye.